All right, let's talk about a movie that didn't just tell a love story. It completely tore up the rulebook for romantic comedies and honestly changed the game forever. We're diving into Annie Hall. And, the legendary critic Roger Ebert, he really put it best. For decades, people have thrown around words like masterpiece and classic when they talk about Annie Hall, but why? I mean, what is it about this kind of quirky, super neurotic movie from 1977 that gives it so much staying power? Well, for starters, the awards people definitely thought it was special. I mean, come Oscar night in 1978, the film just cleaned up. It walked away with 4 Academy Awards. And not just any awards, we're talking the big ones. Best Actress, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and yeah, the one everyone wants, Best Picture. And you really have to stop and think about what that Best Picture win meant. To get that award, it had to be Star Wars. Yeah, that Star Wars. The movie that basically invented the modern blockbuster. So you've got this small, kind of talky comedy about a relationship that doesn't even work out, and it basically took down the Death Star at the Oscars. That's huge. And the praise? Oh, it didn't stop with the Oscars, not even close. The Writers Guild of America, they went even further. They looked back at all of film history, and they named its screenplay the single funniest ever written. Not top 10, number 1, period. So that brings us back to the big question, right? What is the big deal with this movie? To really get it, we've got to pop the hood and see what's going on inside. Because Woody Allen wasn't just deconstructing a relationship here. He was deconstructing the very way we tell stories on film. Okay, so first up, let's just talk about the plot. The real genius of Annie Hall is that it tricks you. You think you're watching a love story, but what you're really watching is an autopsy of one. It's not about a romance happening now, it's about the memory of a romance that's already over. I mean, think about your typical rom-com, right? You've got the cute meeting, they face some obstacles, and then they live happily ever after. Annie Hall just throws that entire formula out the window. It starts at the end, telling you right up front that they've already broken up. Then it just jumps all over the place, non-linearly, through all these memories, trying to piece together what went wrong. There's no fairy tale ending here. And this kind of gets at the film's original intention, which was way, way darker. Get this. The working title was anhedonia. That's a real psychological term, and it means the inability to experience pleasure. I mean, wow. That tells you everything you need to know about the movie Woody Allen thought he was making at first. And actually, it goes even deeper. The very first draft of the script, it wasn't about a relationship at all. It was this surreal murder mystery, and the whole romance thing was just a tiny subplot on the side. The movie we all know and love today was literally found in the editing room. The editors realized that the scenes between Alvy and Annie were the real heart of the film, so they chopped everything else away and put that relationship front and center. So the rule breaking wasn't just about the plot, not at all. Allen was also basically inventing a whole new cinematic language to show us what was going on inside a character's head. I mean, he threw the entire creative toolbox at the screen. You've got Alvy talking directly to us, the audience. You've got subtitles that show what people are actually thinking. There's a split-screen therapy session, a random cartoon sequence, all of it. But here's the key. These weren't just cool tricks or gimmicks. Every single one had a very specific job to do. So when Alvy turns to the camera and talks right to us, breaking the fourth wall, he stops being just some character in a movie. He becomes our neurotic tour guide. We're not just watching his life from a distance. We're right there inside his head, and we're basically a part of his endless therapy session. And that subtitle scene, it's just a brilliant way to show the anxiety of modern dating. You see Alvy and Annie making all this awkward small talk on their first date, but then the subtitles pop up showing us their real insecure thoughts. It's the perfect way to visualize that gap between the cool person we're trying to be on the outside and the bundle of anxieties we are on the inside. Even the pacing of the movie felt different. Someone actually studied this, and they found that the average shot in Annie Hall lasts for 14.5 seconds. Now, to put that in perspective, for most other movies back in 1977, the average shot was only 4 to 7 seconds long. These long, continuous takes really let the dialogue and the acting just breathe, and it gives the whole film this unique, powerful rhythm. So, you have to ask, where did this whole new style come from? I mean, this mix of really serious themes with all this experimental comedy, this was a huge, huge change of pace for Woody Allen.
And Woody Allen himself said it. He called this movie a major turning point for him. He made a deliberate choice to, and this is his quote, sacrifice some of the laughs for a story about human beings. This was literally him growing up as an artist, right there on screen.
And the shift was, well, it was dramatic. He went from the slapstick, almost cartoonish comedy of his early movies to something way more natural, more focused on the characters. Even the music completely changed. He ditched his usual wall-to-wall jazz soundtracks for something much quieter, much more minimal. Now, this change wasn't an accident, not at all. It was directly inspired by his hero, the legendary Swedish director Ingmar Bergman. That deep dive into psychoanalysis, the serious tone, and especially that sparse use of music, those were all trademarks of Bergman's films. Woody Allen was basically trying to take what Bergman did and channel it into his own, very different brand of comedy. So when you look at the big picture, the innovations in Annie Hall didn't just make one great movie. No, they created these huge ripples that completely changed the landscape, not just for movies, but even for fashion. It's a legacy we can still feel today. First off, let's talk fashion. The Annie Hall look, which by the way was mostly Diane Keaton's own style, with the baggy pants, the vests, the men's ties, it became a massive trend in the late 70s. And then in the world of film, it pretty much invented a whole new category, the smart, self-aware rom-com. You can see its DNA everywhere in movies that came after it. Think about the sharp, witty, New York-style conversations in When Harry Met Sally. Or think about the jumping around in time structure of 500 Days of Summer. They all owe a huge debt to Annie Hall. You could say they're all its children, really. And in the end, Alvy wraps the whole thing up with a joke. But it's more than just a joke. It perfectly captures the entire message of the film. It's funny, it's sad, and it's so, so human. Yeah, relationships are totally irrational. They're absurd, they can be painful, but we keep doing them. Why? Because, well, I guess we need the eggs.